Welcome back to the Joy of Collecting. We have some Hall of Fame autographs, memorabilia for you today. And this could be my best day ever. It really could be. I think in my personal opinion, it probably is going to be the best in totality that I have had. So getting into a box here, you can see I've not looked at these. I know what's in here, but this first item, something I got from an estate sale online auction, and I actually got both of these in separate lots of the same sale or the same auction. First thing is a baseball, signed ball, and if I had known this was wrapped this well inside the box, I would have cut it out before I started the video, but I didn't. And they took great care to wrap this very, very well. So, all right, we are just about there. So let's get into this. Layer after layer after layer. All right, that is a good, clean looking ball. And I don't know if I'm smart enough to get this thing apart. There we go. So we have an official Major League Baseball. This is signed by Buck O'Neil. Buck O'Neil, I think he played 10 years in the Negro Leagues. Never played in the American or National League, and he also lost 2 years during his career for military service. I believe 1944, 1945. But after he retired from playing, he went on to be a scout, and he was actually excuse me, I'm a little congested. He was actually the first African American coach in Major League Baseball. So he is in the Hall of Fame as it says a pioneer / executive. And he certainly was a pioneer. He was a great ambassador for the game of baseball. And so I'm excited. You can see this is a late in life signature. He has passed away now. I think he died a couple of years ago, maybe 2022. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he had a nice long life in baseball as a player, coach, scout, and an ambassador for the game. So Buck O'Neil. All right, the second one, I purchased this. I'm kind of going out of order. Purchased this from Facebook Marketplace. This is a official ball of the National League, and it is signed by Hank Aaron. So Hank Aaron is, everybody knows who Hank Aaron is. He was the all-time home run leader, and other than Barry Bonds, he's the all-time, he would still be if not for Barry Bonds. And we know the shadow or whatever that's over Barry Bonds and his steroid usage and the ridiculous home run numbers that he put up. But I didn't realize until I got looking. Everybody talks about Hank Aaron and the home runs. Hank Aaron is also third all-time in hits, total hits, behind Pete Rose and Ty Cobb. And he ended his career only I say only, but only around 500 hits behind Pete Rose, or less than Pete Rose has for the record. Hank Aaron ended his career with 3,771 hits. Hank Aaron is also the all-time RBI leader, runs batted in leader. So, second all-time home runs, third all-time in hits, number one all-time in runs batted in. And he had that. He was able to achieve that because he played for a long time, and he played for a long time at a high level. And I don't know that anybody will, obviously he's been passed in home runs. I think Albert Pujols got maybe within striking distance of him on RBIs, runs batted in. But I don't know if there's anybody who will reach the pinnacles that he did in all of those offensive categories over the course of a career. It's just not very likely. So I'm excited to add that to my collection, hammering Hank Aaron. Now, these next two items that we have, these players are more modern than Hank Aaron or Buck O'Neil, but both of these players are also deceased. They are Hall of Famers, and they both died too young. It was a tragic death for both of them. And these were two of my favorite players when my mother got me into collecting cards in the 1980s. And her plan was for us to collect all the sets, Tops and Fleer and Donruss, and then Score and Upper Deck came out towards the end of the 80s, 88, 89, 90. And that was going to be was going to send me to college. And of course, we all know how the junk wax era worked out. But when she introduced me to collecting, my only way to be exposed to baseball, because I live in Tennessee, and we were poor, live in a small town, so my exposure to baseball was through the radio. And rural West Tennessee, you picked up the St. Louis Cardinals. So I grew up a St. Louis Cardinals fan, and now we have instant access to the offensive leaders, the pitching leaders, who's got the most strikeouts, the best ERA, the most home runs, who's leading the league in hits, average, that kind of thing. But my exposure to baseball, when I found out how many hits someone had, or home runs, or what their batting average was, or how many strikeouts, it was when I pulled their cards out of a pack, unless they played for the Cardinals, is when I pulled their cards out of a pack and looked at their stats from the previous year. So, and I was always enamored with players who could put the bat on the ball. Players that hit for a high average, had a lot of hits. And I know this video is going on, it's going to be a little longer, and I apologize for that, but kind of going back down memory lane. But these were two of my favorite players because they both hit for average, they both put the bat on the ball. And when I would pull those cards out and I would see 200 plus hits in a 340, 350, 360 batting average, I was fascinated with that. And even today, with the home runs and everybody looking at launch angle and exit velocity and uppercut swings and all that, there's a serious lack of ability to put the bat on the ball. And I just would much prefer to watch a game, watch a team that had 4 or 5 players that were hitting over 300, than to watch a team that had 4 or 5 players that were batting 240, but they had 20 or 30 home runs. I like the action, the art of hitting, putting the bat to the ball, and these next two players were two of the best at that, particularly in the 80s. So I guess first here we have Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn tragically died of cancer, I think maybe around 2014, and I think he was about 54 years old, but probably one of, if not the greatest contact hitter in the history of baseball. Very rarely struck out, just very rarely, was taken advantage of by a pitcher or overpowered. He frustrated some of the greatest pitchers of his era. And you can see interviews of them talking about what it was like to face Tony Gwynn, how they couldn't get him out, and the difficulties that they had. But anyway, he was one of my favorite players growing up, and I've already got a signature of his. You've seen the video of the artwork, the painted home plate recently that I acquired that has his signature on it, but I had the opportunity to pick this baseball up, and so I wanted to do that. The other player that was one of my favorites, American League player, also died tragically, I think in 2006, of a stroke, and that is Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett, I believe, had over 200 hits 5 times in his career, led the American League in hits 4 times in his career. I was going to try to pull that out of there, but I'm not going to. I know it's hard with the reflection. Let's see. Yeah, about right there. That's a picture of Kirby Puckett, and has a big, beautiful signature in blue marker. He only played, I think, 12 seasons, but he ended his career with about 2,300 hits, over 200 home runs. He hit for a little more power than Tony Gwynn did. He led the league in hits, I believe, 4 times. Led the league in batting average, I believe, once. And he was a multiple-time, I think 10-time All-Star. Just a terrific career. And like I said, tragically died at a young age of a stroke, I think in around 2006. But I think as I may have more valuable pieces than these. I don't know. I mean, these are fairly valuable pieces that I was able to pick up. I did pick up the Buck O'Neill and the Kirby Puckett in the same auction, from the same auction house. But I may have more valuable pieces than these, but I think as a collective, for a single day, single video, this is probably one of the better varieties of players here, and accomplishments and different things. So what do you think? What do you think? Did you get to see Tony Gwynn, Kirby Puckett play? Probably did. I never got to see Hank Aaron play. He was long retired before I ever, got an interest in baseball. But I just think these are some great pieces here today. So leave a like, leave a comment. I appreciate all my subscribers. I have an idea for a giveaway, maybe here in another month or so. Maybe if we can get up around 100 subscribers, doing a nice giveaway of a Hall of Fame autographed item. And I have an idea in mind of what that might be already. Kind of working on something here, but like I said, I do appreciate my subscribers. I appreciate those who have recently subscribed, because I was shouted out on another channel, and I really do appreciate that. And I'm still familiarizing myself with the channels, and I don't remember off the top of my head, the name of the channel. that shouted me out, but I am going to put that in the video description just as a way of saying thanks, because I did pick up several subscribers when he did that. I think about 9 or 10 since he's done that. And of course I went and subscribed to those channels, and it's just really a great community out there of collectors that I wasn't aware of until recently, so I'm thankful for that. But as always, thank you for joining me today on the Joy of Collecting. I do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.